what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Burn It Down with Kim Brown, the safe space where we set oppression ablaze and understand and know and believe that something better will and must arise from out of those ashes. Happy Tuesday to you, everybody. How's everyone feeling out there today? What's up? What's up, Fire Fam? I see you guys checking in. Yes, we have some announcements today. Well, wait. Let's lead off with some good news first, okay? First good news, guys. Join me in wishing Molly a happy, very Virgo birthday. Yay! Happy birthday to Molly. Now, Molly, I will spare everybody the Stevie Wonder rendition of Burn It Down of a happy birthday. What in the hell was that? That sounded like an old school modem. Did y'all hear that? Oh, I was like, what the fuck was that? Air horns. Yes, let's go with the air horns. Happy birthday, Molly, you guys. Send all Molly, all the birthday love and wishes, because we love our Virgos out here. It's still very much Virgo season, so Virgo it up big time, Molly. Yes. What, you going to say something today? Okay, got it. So happy birthday to Molly. That is our good news. I see some of us are already hip to the bad news in the chat. Bad news, SNL comedian and movie actor Norm Macdonald has passed away at age 61. That just broke, this afternoon. Norm apparently was having a long battle with cancer. So it's crazy to keep losing these people relatively young. Yes, you and I didn't even talk about Michael K. Williams last week, right? That was pretty crazy. Michael K. Williams, of course, better known as Omar from The Wire. I know Michael K. Williams from a lot of stuff, y'all. I'm a big Law and Order watcher. Michael K. Williams is all in Law and Order, yo. He played every drug addict, every, violent felon that Law and Order and its, spinoff series could cast. So the tragic thing about losing Michael K. Williams is many suspected that it was due to a drug overdose. And I think I have said it here, maybe not actually on the show. For my Patreon people, I think we have had this conversation, have we not, in our Ask Me Anythings? Listen, I get coke was fun. I understand that. In your 20s and 30s, yes, I understand. Cocaine. Lots of fun, all the fun. Over 40, over 50, cocaine is going to do something real bad to your heart. And it's going to catch you slipping. And again, speculating, and I'm absolutely not casting any sort of judgment on anyone that has any drug addiction problem. I'm just saying, once you get to be of a certain age, you need to put the cocaine away. All right. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart, seriously. Especially now, with them cutting coke with all kinds of shit, fentanyl, Sade, you don't want none of that. And from what I understand, you can't even really tell the cocaine cut with fentanyl versus, some better cocaine. Are we having a cocaine conversation right now? I think we may be. But the point is, guys, if you're dealing with addiction, do your best to try to get some help in some way, or reach out to somebody or some sort of group that deals specifically with that. And definitely try to have compassion in your heart for those who are still dealing with and fighting their addictions. Let's not be too judgy, because we all got our vices, do we not? Your vice may just not be fentanyl laced cocaine. Your vice is something different that could kill you in a different way. So let's not be too judgy. Let's just not look down on our noses at people, okay? Especially those people who are struggling. So, guys, thank you all so much for showing up. I see we got our people in here. I see we got Ursula Baptiste up in this joint. We got Tyler. We got Stilla Steve. What's up, Stilla Steve? Stilla Steve up in the building. Ready Revolutionary. That's a new face. What's up, Northern Witch? Hello, honey. Tyler Hackett, Luke Kang. Luke Kang, you better have your black ass in here today, baby. Peyton Hansen. You a new one. I remember seeing you. But welcome, Peyton. Welcome to you. Chuck Diesel, of course. Valley Girl, Natalie, Anna Hart, Sugar Booger, Kev Z 24/7. We got the squad in here. I mean, not B squad. We got our Fire Fam in here. Y'all knew what I meant. Guys, interesting show today. Clearly a solo sesh day. I did all my weed smoking earlier. Let me apologize for that off the break. Now, I'm trying to keep my hair out my eyes Because listen, I thought I was doing something cute by twisting my hair in a different direction. Like I twisted it frontwards because I thought I was going to try to look cute like Dr. CBS. I am not as cute as Dr. CBS, unfortunately. So my hair is not laying the way Dr. CBS's head lays, by the way. Dr. CBS fine as hell. I'm trying to step my game up. But anyway. If you thought Democrats were your friends, which I already know nobody here ever thought that ever. Maybe when you was a little baby supporting Obama in 2008, you thought Democrats were your friends. Maybe when you were even smaller, baby, 92, 96, you thought Bill Clinton was your friend. Well, Democrats continue to prove to us at the federal, state, and local level they are not our friends. In Los Angeles, the LA City Council at the very end of August proposed an ordinance that would preclude protesters from being 300 feet away, would mandate that protesters had to be 300 feet away from the residences of elected officials, right? Why? Y'all know why? Because our friends, People City Council, Rishi Serjanko and them were showing up at the motherfuckers' houses like, wake up, bitch. Why'd you vote to continue the sweeps of the homeless encampments, asshole, ring-a-ding-ding at 6:30 a.m. So the Los Angeles City Council did not like that. So guess what they did? They passed a new law today mandating that protesters must be 300 feet away from their houses, right? This is absolutely another attempt to quell free speech, freedom to assemble, freedom to protest. And for those who may say that, oh, you're not really gaining any fans here by showing up at elected officials' houses, hey, man, the motherfuckers got to be held accountable somehow, some way. And I don't advocate for destruction of property or vandalism of anybody's houses and all that. But motherfuckers showing up across the street ain't causing you no harm. It is causing you inconvenience and annoyance. And I think people are absolutely free to do that to public elected officials, people who draw a salary off the taxpayer dollar. So we're going to talk about that. That happened out in LA. Of course, we all know that recall elections also happening in California. Polls still open till 8 o'clock Pacific time. Californians, if you have not already voted, maybe go vote. I guess if you don't want Larry Elder to be the governor of California. And shout out to Infinite Content. Infinite Content's been linking, he's been sending me tweets of Larry Elder talking, just the highest level of cooning. I mean, if there was level 10 cooning, Larry Elder is cooning at a level 15 at least. Anyway, that's later in the show. Also later in the show, the former police chief of Detroit is running for governor, right? He wants to pose the Republican challenge to Democrat Gretchen Whitmer for the gubernatorial election happening in Michigan. I believe that's 2022. Yeah, sounds right. He tried to make that announcement today. And a group of youth activists showed up and shut his little press conference down. And ladies and gentlemen, and days, when I tell you the shit was entertaining, And trust me, we go watch that stuff and we are all going to get a good laugh in together. But before we commence in the laughs, y'all, we have to start out on the bad side, actually, because our brothers and sisters in non-binary transgender people who are incarcerated, who are locked up in jail right now, are struggling. They're struggling nationwide. They're struggling in every corner of this country. Of course, the United States, we incarcerate more people than anybody, right? Land of the free, the democracy. Make sure to have 2 million people in jail right now, right? And despite whatever the fuck the Biden administration be talking about, oh, we go into contracts with private prisons and federal jails, nigga, that ain't letting out enough people, okay? Period, point blank. And without question, from Parchment Prison down in Mississippi, all the way up to New York, to Rikers Island, there is a humanitarian crisis taking place right now in our jails. And let's start actually in New York with Rikers Island. Actually, let's start. Before we go to Rikers, let's take a little detour about 20 or so minutes away. Let's take a look at the mayor of New York City last night. Was it last night or the night before? At the Met Gala. Mayor Bill DeBlasio showed up there with his family, all looking so spiffy and clean. Can we see the DeBlasios looking awesome? So yes, Bill DeBlasio showed up to the Met Gala along with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Now, AOC's dress, I don't have that up here, but AOC's dress said "Eat the Rich." It wasn't even really a cute dress. So I was like, okay, OC, you could have. Okay, nobody asked for that, but okay, whatever. So while Bill DeBlasio was schmoozing it up and hobnobbing with, the Carters, the Beyonce Carters, or I don't know what the Jay-Z's and Beyonce's call themselves these days. Anyway, $30,000 plate. Bill DeBlasio was there, his family looking all so respectable and shiny. $30K a plate. Why the fuck was Bill DeBlasio there? And just 20 minutes up the road in Queens, I don't know New York that well, guys, so don't hold me too accountable, but not that far, less than 30 minutes is Rikers Island, right? And let some New York activists tell you that Bill DeBlasio, I believe, has attended at least 4 Met Galas, but during his tenure, I don't believe Mayor DeBlasio has visited Rikers Island not once. Rikers Island incarcerates 6,000 people a day, right? I mean, there's 6,000 people in jail right now in Rikers Island. Tunde, if we could pop up, please, I think this would be A2, and then it'll be quickly followed by A3, guys. The Gothamist did a piece recently detailing how self-harm is exploding in New York City jails. Internal numbers show. Now, let me read y'all an excerpt from this here Gothamist piece, because the numbers are very troubling, guys. Ever since COVID, the numbers of either suicides or attempted suicides have gone up quite a bit, have spiked so much so that the chief medical officer at Rikers Island has requested some assistance. But hold on, let me read this to you guys real quick. So, internal numbers, as I'm quoting the Gothamist piece here. Internal numbers obtained by WNYC, Gothamist, and the city show that the rate of self-harm in city jails spiked last summer as COVID ravaged New York City and climbed to historic levels in the months since. Between July and September 2020, the self-injury rate was nearly double that of the previous quarter. And according to the latest available data, covering April to June of 2021, city jails recorded 539 incidents of incarcerated people hurting themselves, pushing the rate up to 95 such incidents per every 1,000 detainees, the highest in the last 5 years. So our incarcerated people are dealing with, especially in Rikers Island. Well, according to these numbers, this is citywide across New York City, that people are trying to commit suicide, hurt themselves, harm themselves at higher rates than have ever been recorded, according to the data. And that has a lot to do not only with COVID and the way that incarcerated people were wholly neglected and thrown away, basically, during this pandemic. The conditions for them to try to keep themselves hygienic were barely met, if met at all, if not gone in the whole opposite ass direction of the worst unsanitary conditions that you can imagine, is what people who have been languishing in New York City jails, particularly Rikers Island, have been experiencing. If we can pop up that next article, Tunde, that A3 joint, because this has got to be such a crisis, guys, that the chief medical officer from Rikers Island put out, well, let me not say he put out. He sent a letter to a member of the city council. It was obtained by NY1 News, okay? Ross Macdonald, let me read y'all from this article here. This is from ny1.com. Ross Macdonald is the chief medical officer for the city's correctional health services, and he is asking for the city council to request state or federal assistance. In the last year, 10 people have died, including 5 who committed suicide. That's just in Rikers Island alone, guys. And this is what Chief Medical Officer Ross Macdonald said in his letter, I'm quoting, "I ask you to urge the city to ask for outside help to immediately stabilize a situation that has resulted in death and threatened the health and well-being of everyone who works and resides in city jails." Okay. Not even 2 months ago, the correctional officers from Rikers and the nurses that work at Rikers themselves staged a protest outside of the jail, claiming that conditions were too rough for them. You know what I'm saying? They say they keep getting attacked and having, fecal matter and stuff thrown on them. Yo, why are we warehousing people by the dozens in cages under conditions that people were not meant to be kept in the first place? And not to mention, how many of those people are there on nonviolent offenses, right? I know New York has decriminalized weed or gone even the extra step in legalizing recreational weed. But again, as in all the places in which marijuana is either decriminalized or outright legalized, somehow, some way, niggas keep getting locked up for weed, right? How the fuck weed be legal and niggas keep either getting cited for it or getting outright arrested for it? Make it make sense. But circling back to this issue at Rikers, which is extremely, extremely dire, guys. Like, listen, that doesn't happen, okay? Correctional officers, those pertaining to public safety that work within the correctional facilities usually don't make such public pleas for help, right? Demanding help, trying to really drive home how critical the situation is there at Rikers. And to make it drive this point home a little bit, right? Lawmakers from the New York General Assembly, and I believe, I don't think it was city council members. I think these were all assembly people, wanted to visit the jail Monday, and they did. Hold on, pop up A4 for me, Tunde. They were able to visit the jail on Monday, but it wasn't because it was all good with the DeBlasio administration. In fact, a spokesperson from the Bill DeBlasio administration told these elected officials, these assemblymen and women who represent areas around New York City, told them as of Friday that they couldn't come. They could not show up to Rikers without prior approval. In fact, the de Blasio administration reportedly, according to the New York Post, no, this is New York Daily News. According to the Daily News, these lawmakers were told by the de Blasio administration that actually y'all can't come Monday, y'all can come Thursday, because only city council people can visit Rikers Island without prior authorization and without going through the proper channels. Y'all other elected officials, y'all have to submit requests. And they was like, the fuck is you talking about, man? So they got it worked out. And these lawmakers showed up to the prison Monday and they toured the prison. And I watched the testimonies of at least 3 or 4 of them because they held a press conference outside of the jail immediately after their visit. And you could tell that these people were very much shaken up by what they saw. And I want us to take a look at a couple of them right now. So the first one we're going to see is a New York Assemblyman from District 36. His name is Zoran K. Mamdani. And then the second clip is going to be from Jessica Gonzalez Rojas, who is also a New York Assembly member. So I want us to take a look, Tunde, if we could please, at A5, guys. It's hard for me to talk about jail stuff because it's not sexy stuff, right? Like, people are so easy, so quick to dismiss those who are incarcerated. Like, well, they did something wrong. They must be in there for a reason. No, y'all. We know how this criminal and justice system works. We know that people are a lot of times in jail for no fucking reason, right? Just because they didn't step and fetch it when the cops told them to, or they are in jail, whereas a person of a different skin color would not be in jail for the similar offense, or the motherfucking cops had a quota that day and had to lock up X amount of people to put them in jail, or these people are in jail and forced to pay a cash bond that they just simply cannot afford, right? We think about Khalif Browder in that sense, and countless others. So let's take a look really quick at the responses of some of the New York Assembly people who visited Rikers Island on Monday to tour some of the deplorable conditions. Many are calling this a humanitarian crisis up there in New York City. Let's take a look.
6,000 people behind me in cages. That bill would ensure that 1,000 are eligible for release. And then we have the mayor, who can ensure through work release programs that we have other incarcerated people on this island be let out of this island. We know that Isaiah passed away just very recently in this facility. And I spoke to another incarcerated individual who told me that he tried to take his own life on the very same day. And I asked him why. And he said because he is in Rikers Island. His family cannot help him. The state has abandoned him. The only person left to help him is himself, and he has no access to the legal documents sent by his lawyer, no access to counsel on the time that he needs to meet them. So how can he help himself? And as Meghna said, he chose to attempt death over living a lie of life in this facility. And we are here to say that we have to take these actions to ensure that that is not a choice these incarcerated New Yorkers are forced to take any longer. I'm going to pass it over to Farah Soufran Forrest, who can tell us more about you.
I have 9 pages of mothers to call, of partners to call, of loved ones to call, because people have been stuck inside for days, for weeks, for months, without a court hearing, without being able to get transported to court, without medical care. I met a transgender person who is locked away in a unit with male colleagues. She deserves dignity. I also talked to the person who is HIV positive, who's not getting their medication. This is another death on our hands. I just witnessed an attempted suicide. Miss, come here. Jumped up there and tried to hang himself. Senator Ramos right there. Nobody deserves this. These are human beings. Person after person after person after person after person told me that they missed their curfew. They violated parole. We got the bill done. Governor, you have to sign it. Yesterday, not today. Yesterday it had to be signed. But you can do the right thing and sign this now. And not only sign it, but allow for release. We have correction officers working 24-hour shifts, 48-hour shifts, back to back. It's inhumane for everybody. This system is inhumane. I need every single one of my colleagues to be here. I need the mayor to be here. I need the governor to see the conditions here. So I'm going to go back and call the moms and the partners and the loved ones. And I asked them, what do I tell them? And people were telling me, I feel like a slave. I feel like an animal. I'm treated like an animal. I think
just reading y'all comments, man. Northern Witch, hashtag in cash bail. Yes, in cash bail. And guys, so what Jessica, or Assembly Person Jessica Rojas, was talking about there, when she talks about the bill she's speaking of is a bill called Less is More. It was passed by the New York State Legislature, and it is sitting on the desk of the new New York Governor, Kathy Hochul. Is that how the sister says her name? Governor Kathy Hochul. Yes, it is sitting on her desk. And guys, these are the questions I have for us, all of us, right? All of this shit right now, everything that's happening at Rikers lays exclusively at the feet of Democrats, right? Bill DeBlasio is a Democratic mayor. There's actions that Bill DeBlasio from his position as mayor can do. And many of the assembly people were calling for that, actually. They said that they need Mayor DeBlasio to utilize, I think it was Action 6A, in which he personally can designate people to be released on some sort of work release program from Rikers Island. And I'm sure I'm saying that properly there. But what these assembly people and these state legislatures and other people who are abolitionists, also the legal aid lawyers were there, defense attorneys were there, like, hey, this is getting way, way out of hand. So what these people are demanding are that district attorneys stop asking for cash bail, that the mayor release people inside by using the power, the executive power that DeBlasio has from his office, and that governors, this particular governor, Kathy Hochul, signed the less is more bill, which again, the state legislature already passed. Now, what is less is more? According to Assemblyperson Zoran, that we just saw, Mr. Mamdi, they say that less is more restricts incarceration for non-criminal technical parole violations. Implementation of less is more means that 1,000 people on Rikers Island would be eligible for release. Y'all, there's 6,000 people on Rikers Island right now. If you let 1,000 out, that would be a really big step in the right direction. The state legislature passed this bill already. It's on Governor Kathy Hochul's desk. And is the Democratic mayor of New York going to take action to help people out of jail? Is the Democratic governor of New York State going to use the power of her office to help release people? I've been following New York abolitionists, and they were pulling their hair out behind Andrew Cuomo and his refusal to release people incarcerated during the height of the COVID pandemic last year during 2020, right? He didn't hardly let anybody out, if anybody, right? And the big complaints about Cuomo were and are that he commuted fewer people's sentences than any other previous governor in New York State. Like, he did the absolute bare minimum, if even that, right? Let me compare you. Let me give y'all a comparison, by the way. I don't know how many people Andrew Cuomo commuted, how many sentences were commuted. It was very few. To juxtapose him against Democratic Governor of Virginia, Ralph Northam. Ralph Northam, by the way, y'all remember Ralph Northam? Was he the one in blackface, or was he the one in the Klan hood in his med school yearbook? That Ralph Northam. Ralph Northam has been going out of his way to try to make it up to black people ever since. Ralph Northam has commuted the sentences of over 900 incarcerated people in the state of Virginia. And he did that in a relatively short amount of time. I think that is the most that has ever been done in the state of Virginia, FYI. So Ralph Northam trying to do the most from his office. Andrew Cuomo, and so far, early out the gate, Kathy Hochul is doing the absolute least. And they're not the only Democrats who are failing New Yorkers, right? People who are locked up right now in Rikers and other places across the city. So I want us to play a clip from one of these so-called reformer progressive prosecutors in the biggest air quotes you can find, because I don't know if such a thing exists. Larry Krasner out of Philadelphia might be one, but I don't know. Because we got one in Baltimore. Her name is Marilyn Mosby, and she keep trying to tell people she a progressive. Meanwhile, Marilyn Mosby's office is still locking up juveniles and order them held without bond. But okay, progressive. Okay, whatever you say there. So one of these progressive prosecutors, so-called progressive prosecutors, is actually out of New York City, out of the borough of Queens. Her name is Melinda Katz. And Melinda Katz last year was with the shits, seemingly with the shits. Her position on cash bail was something that abolitionists and people who are advocating on behalf of ending cash bail, ending money bail, were very enthusiastic to hear. So actually, I want us to listen to what DA Katz, this is Melinda Katz from Queens, this is what she had to say about any cash bail. Sure. Tunde said he needs a minute. Okay. So we're going to give Tunde that minute. But the point, and we're going to check out what DA Katz had to say about that. But the point is, guys, Democrats can do all of these things. Democrats can end cash bail. Democrats can use the power of their offices to either decline to prosecute low-level offenses or violent offenses or even, drug offenses. They have the power and their discretion to do all of those things. But we all know why they don't. Because at the end of the day, the court system is a money grab. This is why I hate it here, y'all. Everything is a fucking scam. Everything about court is a scam. Okay, now I'm about to go on a tangent. Hold on here, too. Like, everything about court is a scam, right? You get locked up, bail is a scam. Or even if you get a citation, your ticket is a fucking scam. The cops are out there not even trying to end crime. They're just trying to meet their quotas, right? So if you're held without bond, then the jails get money, right? And then the people that run the collect calls from the prison, they get fucking money. The commissary gets money. Like it's a whole money. To call it a grift is actually to even do it a disservice because it's so huge and insidious and disgusting, and it has so many different tentacles, and they are just snatching the little money that poor people have straight away from their pockets. But anyway, this was District Attorney from Queens, Melinda Katz. This was her position on cash bail last year, 2020. This is the shit she ran on. Let's check this out.
So in general, bail is meant to just have people show back up in court that might not show up otherwise. And so from the advocate's perspective, I totally agree with that. I am not a fan of cash bail. I think that we need to get to a system like New Jersey and like other states in the country where we don't use cash in order to keep people coming back for their court appearance. And this is the problem, right? If you have someone who has committed a crime and the judge sets bail of, let's say, $100,000. If the person who committed the crime has money, that person gets out. That person's having dinner with their family that night, and the next day they're walking their children to school. If the person doesn't have money, it doesn't mean that the judge thought they were any less or more dangerous or any more or less ready to show up at court, because they still set the same amount of bail. But if they're poor or don't have the infrastructure, that person is sitting in Rikers Island until the trial. And that in and of itself has an unfairness about it. And I think the reason we're here today is because the system has gone so far over the last several years to a position where they were just putting bail on everyone, and the inequities of it, and the arrests, the overbail of people of color, and all of that went into it really pushed the system to the other side.
So that was Melinda Katz, kind of sounding like she was making some sense, right? Tunde, at your convenience, pop up A7 for me, y'all. So this was brought about by a tweet from a lawyer, a defense attorney, which pointed out the fact that, for one, New York has a new bail law, which went into effect January 1st, that says judges cannot set bail on anyone charged with a misdemeanor, except for a few specific exceptions. However, the publication cityandstateny.com found that Melinda Katz's office in Queens actually did ask for bail for a person charged with a misdemeanor, and her office admitted to the mistake. Now, how often this is happening under this new law, which again, seemingly is a little surprising that, either the judge or whatever, like her office asked the judge to set bail in this particular instance of this man charged with this misdemeanor. And according to the article, he was charged with second-degree stalking, or some form of stalking, where he was charged eventually with some sort of contempt of the court, which still in itself is a misdemeanor. And her office still asked for a bail, which they were not technically supposed to do under this new law. So we cannot trust the Democrats to be reformers or to lead on reform. And of course, when I say don't trust Democrats, that absolutely does not mean trust Republicans, because that should go without saying, right? Y'all notice that we don't even reference the Republicans a lot unless we just outwardly shitting on how just unabashedly ignorant they are, especially when it comes to their leaders. I'm speaking specifically about Greg Abbott and Ron DeSantis and the like. We don't got to talk about the Republicans and what they do. And anyone that spends any amount of time criticizing conservatives is just wasting your time, basically, because do y'all need me to tell y'all that conservatives are crazy? No, that is common sense. That is a baseline that I hope everyone in this here chat is already operating at. So we don't need to pull our hair out about Mitch McConnell and about Kevin McCarthy and all of them bitch ass niggas. Why? Because they are bitch ass niggas, and that is already understood. So yeah, there is that. But Bill DeBlasio can use his office to let people out of Rikers right now. Kathy Hochul is the new governor of New York as a Democrat. She can take some action as well, passing or writing into law, signing the less is more bill into law. And if these people don't do these things, guys, these people are not entitled to our votes. Period, point blank. I am fully in support of withholding your vote as a vote. Now, Shirley, I know Shirley gonna pop up in here like, Kim, I'm not saying don't vote. I'm not one of those people. When it comes to that issue of do you vote, do you not vote, I say do you. And I know that some of y'all might say that's kind of a coward's position. No, I disagree. Because I think not voting is very much a statement within itself. And I think that you are entitled to do that. I think that people, especially Black people who come from those who lay down their lives and sacrifice so much for the right to vote. I think you have the right to withhold your vote if you so choose. Now, myself personally, I haven't voted for president, but maybe since 2012. I don't think I voted for Obama in 2012. I don't think I voted for president in 2012. I know I damn sure didn't vote in 2016, but I go in my ballot box during election day and I vote the ticket minus whoever's at the fucking top, right? I vote my local races, I vote my congressional races, county councils, city, county PTA, whatever they be elected around here in Maryland. I vote local races. But at some point, the vote, it's not working for us, like, because we keep electing people who do not advocate or represent our interests, despite the fact that this is how they campaign. But when they get into office, they don't govern that way. They govern from the position of protecting the rights and the interests of the most powerful. And people like those who are incarcerated now on Rikers Island, their very bare minimum life needs are outwardly neglected. You guys, some of the conditions in which they're saying that these people on Rikers are dealing with right now, like toilets don't work, right? Toilets don't work. That in itself is a humanitarian crisis. All jokes to the side, right? The food that they are being served you can't eat it. It's filled with worms, maggots, cockroaches, just totally stuff that you cannot eat, right? People there with medical conditions and medical needs and who require prescription medicine, those needs are not being fulfilled, right? I'm probably more inclined to believe that more people have died on Rikers Island in the past year than what the chief medical officer is even saying, right? They know how to reclassify deaths to make them into one thing when something else actually happened. There's no reason for this. There's absolutely no reason for this. And even the correctional officers themselves, not that I'm not on the side of correctional officers, let's be clear. By the way, speaking of COs, because I mentioned earlier that they protested about this, some weeks ago, Bill DeBlasio's solution to the crisis that's happening on Rikers Island. Can you guys take a guess? Can you take a guess? Oh, yes. Bill DeBlasio has suggested the hiring of 600 more correctional officers for Rikers. That will totally solve the problem, won't it, guys? More cops. That's the Democrats' favorite solution to anything relating to public safety or public health. Just hire more police, right? The police will fix it. Nigga, what have the police fixed? That would lead you to believe that police are actually the solution, or indeed more police are the solution, right? I disagree with that wholly. And oh my goodness, hold on. I'm my bad, guys. I did not mean to spend 40 minutes in Rikers Island. I guess I was more moved by this story than I initially thought that I was when I first started seeing these stories pop up like late August. I didn't understand what the severity of the conditions were, but now that I'm reading more reporting about it, set them free, set the captives free, let them out now, let them all out yesterday, please. And I'm glad that Rikers is going to be closed or slated to be closed. I think 2027 is when Rikers is allegedly supposed to close, and they're going to disperse the Rikers population to smaller borough jails throughout the city. But this can't continue, what's happening right now in Rikers. And whatever the proposed solution by DeBlasio or even the new Hochul administration out of Albany, shit needs to happen today. Okay, something needs to happen right now. Because people are dying and they are suffering. And even the ones who are managing to live, as we saw from the Gothamist piece, are attempting to self-harm and end their own lives at rates that they have not seen before. So all this blood is on Bill DeBlasio's hands. This blood is on Andrew Cuomo's hands. This blood is on Kathy Hochul's hands. This blood is on the New York City Council people's hands. How much blood do you need on your hands? It's a blessing, I suppose, that Jay-Z sees the story of Khalif Browder so people would understand what happened to that young man while awaiting trial on Rikers Island for what? Khalif was there for 2 or 3 years, and he allegedly stole a backpack. And his people did not have the money to bail him out. So he was on the islands for so long, he ended up killing himself, right? There's a lot of Khalif Browders out there, y'all. And there's Khalif Browders incarcerated in Rikers right now. And Bill DeBlasio and Kathy Hochul can let them out right now. So tell them niggas, come on. Honey, who said the Texas? Thank you, Courtney. Thank you, Pimp C, baby. Let's not forget Texas new bail reform also. Yes, I want to get into that. But there was also some, not from Texas specifically, something cool, not even cool. Let me not even say cool, but something positive happened out of Illinois, where the governor there, J.B. Pritzker, commuted a bunch of sentences, or I think he signed a new bill that would allow either terminally ill inmates and people who have maybe had something to do with elderly inmates as well. Let me get the details about that. I will have that for y'all on a different show. I want to talk about more jail stuff on the program. I want to talk about a lot of shit on this program, guys. Jail stuff all the way included. So yes, Sugar Booger said, I had no idea the severity either. Yeah. I mean, once we know it now, we can't unknow it, right? So y'all keep your eyes to Rikers, keep your eyes to New York City right now, as that humanitarian crisis continues to unfold, and hopefully these Democratic bitch ass niggas will do something about it. I want us to move along to the next topic, guys, because this is I hope let this next story please bring a smile to your face. Hold on, while I got you here, all 7 to 7 of y'all, give me them. We good on the thumbs up. Okay, we close, we matching. The ratios is matching. That's good. If you're not already a subscriber to Burn It Down with Kim Brown, go ahead and do me a favor and hit subscribe. You can please follow us places around the internet, BIDWKB, Instagram, Facebook, Burn It Down KB on Twitter. We are also on the ticker of the Taka. And if you would like to support us monetarily, haven't seen them super chats ringing lately, but that's okay. I wasn't gonna say nothing, but I mean, I just noticed. But we take your super chats, we take your Cash App at $, BIDWKB, Venmo at BIDWKB, PayPal.me/BIDWKB, and of course to our amazing patrons, Patreon.com/BIDWKB. Shit, we gotta schedule a damn AMA for Patreon. We almost halfway through the month. Patreoners, let me know when y'all got a Good Friday open for us to come kick it. So there's that. Moving on, like I said, to the next story, and this is a good one. Okay, so Michigan is finna elect a new governor. I'm gonna assume this has got to be a 2022 election, I guess. Y'all, I don't even. February of 2020 is the last month and year I can accurately say I knew for sure it was February of 2020. Anything after February 2020, I don't know the year. I don't know what month it is. I damn sure don't know what day it is. Ask me what number day it is so I can lie. So I can tell y'all a quick lie. No clue. But Michigan's getting ready to elect a new governor, right? So that's got to be coming up soon. And Gretchen Whitmer is going to run as the incumbent from all indications of that. Shout out to Gretchen Whitmer. Now, I don't even know shit about Gretchen Whitmer's policies. But the only reason I'm shouting her out is because she ain't run when them crazy white supremacists was coming to her summer house to come and kidnap her and hold her over for trial for treason for white supremacy shit. I don't know what the fuck, but she talked kind of tough to them crackers, and I respected that about Gretchen Whitmer. I don't know anything whether or not she's a good governor or nothing like that. In Michigan, y'all let me know. But moving along, so one of her opponents announced their candidacy today, right? And this opponent happened to be the former police chief of Detroit. His name is James Craig. Now I'm thinking, I can't tell. Detroit. Is he white? Or is he just super light skinned? I couldn't tell by my first glance. And I was too lazy to do my Googles to see if he was like black or white. Because I mean, at first glance, he looked white, but I said, wait a minute. I've got some relatives with that, that tinge to them. Like, are you white or are you just super light skinned? Are you translucent? I can't tell. So James Craig showed up today to announce his candidacy to be the Republican opponent for Gretchen Whitmer. And he thought the shit was going to go fine. He thought the shit was going to go good. Well, there's a young youth-led organization. They describe themselves as militant, called Detroit Will Breathe. 313. Shout out to the youths of the 313. Detroit Will Breathe. These folks organized to show up at James Craig's gubernatorial campaign announcement, and they fucked his shit all up. So listen, we're about to see a accumulation of these 3 clips. First clip is shot by BG on the scene, badass independent journalist Brandon Gutenschwager. Second clip is from Chad Livingood, or Livengood, even though if Livengood was his real last name, that's pretty tight. Chad is the editor for Crane's Detroit. And the third clip is from Dave Boucher, who reports on state politics for the Detroit Free Press. So y'all, look at this. And one of the journalists described it as chaos. It looked like organized awesomeness to me. So you guys, former Detroit police chief James Craig attempting to announce his candidacy to run for governor to oppose Gretchen Whitmer, except the kids of Detroit Will Breathe had different plans. Let's take a look at that, Tunde.
James Craig is full of hate. We won't let him win our state. James Craig is full of hate. We won't let him win our state. James Craig is full of hate. We won't let him win our state. James Craig is full of hate. We won't let him win our state. 1, 2, 3. James Craig is full of hate. James Craig is full of hate. We won't let him win our state. James Craig is full of hate. We won't let him win our state. James Craig is full of hate. We won't let him win our state. James Craig is full of hate. We won't let him win our state. James Craig is full of hate. We won't let him win our state. James Craig is full of hate. We won't let him win our state. James Craig is full of hate. James Craig has got to go. James Craig has got to go.
taking down the crime rate in Detroit. When I call 911, I want somebody to pick up. I want to feel safe in my neighborhood. I want to be able to walk to the store to buy diapers or formula without fear of being jumped by a stranger on the street or worse, jumped by somebody in cop uniform.
Shout out to the young people of Detroit Will Breathe. I mean, you thought it was going away. It was going one way, James Craig, and it ended up going the other way. Thank you, Northern Witch, for your, for your super chat support, honey. I thought I saw Anna Hart give us $5. Anna might have took her shit back. I don't know, but it's fine, though, Anna. We appreciate you showing up for us anyway. Guys, wasn't that glorious? Wasn't that spectacular to see? Now, one of the reporters whose clip that was, I think it was Chad Livingood from Cranes Detroit, is he said in his thread, he's like, please don't think that James Craig's people are upset that his campaign news conference was got hijacked basically by these young folks, because he said that they're probably just going to clip that and run it on as a loop, as a campaign ad, or James Craig is going to go on Fox News and cry about how the mean old Black Lives Matter people ran him away with their words in their air horns, and they were so aggressive and they were just out of control. But that was at Detroit's Belle Isle. James Craig knew he had him a good campaign, backdrop, beautiful place. I mean, Detroit is beautiful right now, y'all. So shout out to Detroit Will Breathe. We like that. Do more of that, which we know that you guys absolutely will. And we're going to be keeping an eye on this gubernatorial election happening in Michigan. But I love the fact that the sister at the end was saying that, despite the fact James Craig is former chief of police, nigga, what did you do? Did you make Detroit safer? No. Did you probably suck up more of Detroit's resources on police overtime and all kinds of bullshit? Yes. Did the crime rate in Detroit go down? No. You got to hold these cops' feet to the fire, man. Like, what did you actually do during your tenure in charge of the police? Can you point to this statistic where significant crime metric, fuck it, we're talking about violent crime. I don't want to hear none of that shit about burglaries or drug arrests or even gun possession. Fuck you and your gun possession. You know why? Because again, possessing a gun is not a violent act, right? So don't show me pictures of all the guns that y'all took off the street, one at a fucking time. Like, who was it? Oh man, it might have been the DC police chief here, Robert Conti. By the way, Muriel Bowser, the mayor of DC, has authorized like unlimited overtime for DC police this summer because there's been a big spike in shootings and murders. And guess what? Authorizing the overtime, the unlimited overtime, has done nothing to bring down the rates of those shootings and those murders, right? So what the fuck do the cops actually do? There is that. Chuck Diesel, thank you so much for your support, darling. Hey, Afra! I'm sorry, I didn't mean to yell in y'all ear. Is Afra in here? Afra, I got your text. The Robert Glasper shit is sold out. I meant to hit you back, Afra. My bad. I'm gonna text you after the show. The police don't do shit, okay? All the police do is spend money. All the police do is fuck people up. All the police do is terrorize neighborhoods. All the police do is protect white people and their interests and their property and shit, right? So fuck this Bama James Craig. I hope Gretchen Whitmer mops the floor with his ass. But I'm sure he's going to have plenty of crazy shit to say and a whole bunch about how, when I was police chief of Detroit, we had a very problem, a huge problem with the murder rate and all of this shit. And I did everything I could. Yeah, motherfucker. What did you actually do? Did the conditions in Detroit actually improve during your tenure? Absolutely fucking not. So I don't even want to hear that shit. Anyway, speaking of some other stuff, where protesters came to bring the motherfucking ruckus. Kev Z 24/7, thank you so much. I see Afra out here getting it done. Afra fundraisers, y'all, for a living. This is what Afra do. Afra bringing the money. So thank you, Afra. Afra, we're going to have to give Afra a commission. All good. I wanted to transition out to California, guys, because the recall election is today. I'm not going to get too deep into it because really California has bigger fish to fry than Gavin Newsom and Larry Elder, because I believe what is on the ballot today is A, do you think and or want Gavin Newsom to be recalled? And B, if you do think Gavin Newsom should be recalled, who should replace him? I don't know what the polling was. I don't know how Larry Elder is doing. Shout out to Infinite Content. Infinite Content kept linking me to Larry Elder cooning clips. And I'm like, yes, I did. I thank you, Infinite Content. I am aware. Larry Elder coons at a very high elite level cooning, dare I say. But something more interesting, I think, is happening in California, specifically in LA. We've been keeping an eye on LA really for a while because Los Angeles specifically is very fascinating. The Los Angeles City Council there really ain't shit. They ain't shit. A bunch of Democrats who represent the interests of the gentrifiers and the corporations trying to displace unhoused people. They have signed numerous ordinances from the LA City Council displacing homeless encampments. In fact, we've seen the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department roll up to Venice Beach pointing long guns at unhoused people, trying to evict them from public spaces without very good policies in place to help them get to more stable housing. But Tunde, if you could pop up the twit, where's the twit? So at the end of August, guys, let's pop up C1 if you could for me, Tunde. This is from Joe Maddy, reporter. This is August 31st. Breaking news. LA City Council has voted 13-1 to craft an ordinance to, quote, limit protests within 300 feet of a target's home, end quote, aiming at quelling protests at the homes of elected officials. Council members cited recent protests at Nuri Martinez and Barbara Ferrer's homes. So Nuri Martinez is the president of the LA City Council, and Nuri Martinez actually had her house targeted, allegedly. I'm going to say allegedly here. I'm going to go out on a big allegedly. I mean, even though she showed ring camera footage from people showing up to her house at night, they spray painted her driveway with the slogan "End the Sweeps," specifically talking about ending the sweeps of the houseless encampments, right? And I think she said like they looked in her car and like knocked on her window. Okay. So she proposed this law August 31st, and here we are, a smooth 2 weeks later. And guess what the LA City Council did today? According to the People's City Council, led in part by one of our friends of the show here, Richie Sergenko. The LA City Council today, 12-2, by a 12-2 vote, voted to enact this ordinance. So now protesters have to remain 300 feet away from the home of a so-called target. However, before that vote, the good people of the People's City Council of Los Angeles showed up at Nuri Martinez's house this morning, early as fuck. And let me just give y'all a trigger warning. It's a trigger warning only for the noise, because they had their horns, air horns, and all their noise. So if the noise, loud noises, and all the of all that stuff that bothers you, just be aware of that, because there's some of that in this clip. Tunde, if we could please take a look at that People's City Council clip from this morning at Nuri Martinez's house.
Hey, wake up, Nuri! Wake up, Nuri! Nuri! Wake the fuck up, Nuri! Wake up, Nuri!
People City Council out at Nuri Martinez's house getting it done. You guys, that earlier tweet that I referenced, it was actually from reporter Emily Hauser. Let me make that correction. And that tweet was from August 31st when Councilwoman Martinez initially proposed this ordinance. And like, I'm just trying to give you all some idea of the speed in which the LA City Council moved to approve this. It's pretty ridiculous. Ursula Baptiste, thank you so much for your pounds. Yes, we will take your British pounds. Thank you, my darling. And Lorraine Hart, thank you so much, honey, so much for your support. You guys are great. Afra out here working. She out here getting it done. So now what's interesting about this ordinance, by the way, is that there was already ordinance in place in Los Angeles. Let me quote y'all from the K-Town for All Twitter account. LA already has a law that prohibits targeted demonstration within 100 feet of private residence. The proposed law conflates illegal actions taken by violent right-wing extremists as protesting and uses it as a political opportunity to restrict constituents who oppose them. And that is what a lot of this has to do. The proposed ordinance not only bans protests at elected houses, it also bans any targeted protest at someone's home. And not only does it ban the protest, but it bans, quote, conspiring or proposing to protest at someone's home, and enables the target to sue people for up to $1,000. I mean, I think that this ordinance is actually going to be challenged in court because I don't see how this is enforceable, especially when there's already something on the ground. And in addition to People City Council, in addition to K-Town for All, Black Lives Matter LA is in this, Stop LAPD Spying, No Sweeps LA, the LA chapter of the Sunrise Movement, they've all signed on to bringing attention to this harmful policy and to go against it. So be looking out for more news coming out of Los Angeles regarding this ordinance. And again, these are Democrats. These are Democrats. Democrats are not our friends. Elected Democrats are not our friends. Can y'all say it with me? Actually, anyway, I'm going to come back to that. Democrats are not our friends, gang. Okay. Nori Martinez is a Democrat. Most of the LA City Council are Democrats. Los Angeles has a Democratic mayor in Garcetti, and they have proposed some of the most restrictive policies, not only on protesting, but on unhoused people. They have allowed the Los Angeles Police and Los Angeles Sheriff's Department to flat out abuse and arrest and detain journalists illegally, all under Democratic watch, right? So we have learned from New York to LA, Democrats ain't shit. Elected Democrats ain't shit, and they are not our friends. And guess what? If they are not on the right side of town in terms of our policies or the shit that we are advocating for, we need to primary them suckers ASAP. And let me throw Atlanta in there as well, right? We've been talking about the Cop Academy, the No Cop City in Atlanta, approved overwhelmingly by who? Majority Democrats in the Atlanta City Council, overseen by a Democratic mayor, black mayor at that. So, that's all I'm gonna say is, Let me give y'all let me tell y'all one more time, my best auntie. Anyway, gang, that's gonna be our show. Afra, hold on. People keep running us money. Maybe we should go longer. y'all keep giving us bread. Thank you, Afra, for your donation, honey. Thank you so much for whipping it up. Afra whips up the money. Chuck Diesel whips up the thumbs up and the likes. So this is what I'm talking about. We need a community like this in order to sustain ourselves and to survive. But listen, guys, we're going to call it a show. Don't forget to join me tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern, over on Black Power Media for the Remix Morning Show. Of course, it's going to be a well-timed, fun time had by all. Dr. Jared Ball, Kalanji Changa, Kamal Franklin, I believe Jacqueline Newman might be in the building, because I know y'all really come to see Jackie, which is fine with me. Shit, I come to see Jackie too. So yes, come on over, join us tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Black Power Media for the Remix Morning Show. That is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 8 a.m. But of course, you know, Black Power Media has a constant slate of new content and new programming to offer. So if you're not already subscribed to Black Power Media, please go over there and do so. Guys, we will see y'all back here. We'll keep it going. What should I talk about, Afra? I don't know what to talk about. I'm gonna cut it off. I'm gonna say goodnight. I'm gonna say bonsoir to mes amis. So guys, we will see y'all back here Friday. I will see y'all tomorrow morning over on Black Power Media for the Remix Morning Show. On behalf of Tunde and the birthday girl, Molly, Virgo season, bitches. Happy birthday, Molly. Guys, we will see y'all back here Tuesday or Friday. The fuck? I don't know what day it is. Okay, we'll do it again. Okay, see y'all later. Okay, see y'all later. See y'all later. Bye-bye. God damn, let me get the fuck up out of here. I'm all over the place.